let us talk about that heart-stopping scene where Ethan Levitt broke into the PCPD cold case files. If you ask me, the writers totally misled us on purpose. We were all sitting on our couches screaming at the television, convinced that Ethan was just digging up dirt to solidify his claim as Phoebe's biological father. We thought it was all about the DNA, the custody battle, and the potential blackmail material against Ava Jerome. But guys, the leaked script tells a completely different story. Ethan's late night excursion into the police station had absolutely nothing to do with confirming his own paternity. He was not looking for proof that he is the father. Instead, he stumbled onto a trail of breadcrumbs that leads straight to the most dangerous man currently operating in Port Charles, Cassius Faison. Let us take a moment to really visualize that scene in the PCPD archives, because my insider leak provided some incredibly vivid details that did not make the final cut of the episode. Picture Ethan creeping down those narrow, dimly lit stairs into the basement. The air is thick with the smell of mildew and decades-old paper. The flickering fluorescent lights overhead cast long, eerie shadows against the concrete walls. He was not just casually browsing, he was on a frantic, desperate mission. He had to pick the lock on a restricted cage just to access the specific boxes labeled with dates from over 20 years ago. As he pulled out the file marked for Cassius Faison, the first thing he noticed was not the text, it was the sheer amount of black redaction ink. Page after page, paragraph after paragraph, completely blacked out. It was a deliberate, meticulous cover-up. Someone spent hours ensuring that whatever Cassius did during those missing years would never see the light of day. And the physical evidence of this cover-up is what really sent chills down Ethan's spine. He found original incident reports that had been physically sliced with a razor blade, the crucial paragraphs removed entirely. He found witness statements that ended mid-sentence, contradicting the official timeline the PCPD has on record. But whoever sanitized these files made one fatal mistake. They missed a single carbon-copied cross-reference sheet tucked away in the back of a completely unrelated burglary file. That single sheet of paper contained the unredacted timeline, and it listed Cassius Faison's primary emergency contact at the time, his wife, Delilah Wilson. The moment Ethan read those words, the entire trajectory of the show shifted. The realization hit him like a freight train. As Ethan dug deeper into these altered files, the name Delilah Wilson kept popping up over and over again. Now, I know what you are thinking. Who on earth is Delilah Wilson? Ladies, according to my sources, this is a massive casting shakeup waiting to happen. The leaked scripts hint that Delilah Wilson is not just a random name in a police report. She is the key to unlocking Cassius Faison's entire hidden life. Ethan noticed that every time Delilah's name was mentioned in the old files, the surrounding information was heavily censored or completely removed. It is as if someone with immense power inside the police department systematically tried to erase Delilah Wilson from existence. And this is where Ethan's brilliant, calculating mind put the terrifying puzzle together. What if Cassius Faison and Delilah Wilson were not just passing acquaintances? What if, many years ago, they were secretly married? Yes, you heard me right, guys. The current theory, circulating behind the scenes, is that Cassius had a secret wife, a life he completely buried and walked away from. But he did not just leave a wife behind. If this secret marriage theory holds true, it means that Delilah Wilson was pregnant when she vanished from the public record. And that baby, ladies, is none other than Phoebe. I need you all to take a deep breath and process this with me because it changes absolutely everything. If Phoebe is actually the biological daughter of Cassius Faison and his secret wife Delilah Wilson, then the entire narrative we have been fed for months is a lie. Ethan Lovett is not Phoebe's father. This is the mother of all plot twists. Phoebe is not just a pawn in a custody battle between Brooklyn Quartermain and Harrison Chase. She is the heir to a dark, twisted legacy. She is the biological daughter of one of the most ruthless men to ever set foot in Port Charles. And if you ask me, this explains absolutely everything about Ethan's recent bizarre behavior. Think back to the moment Ethan secretly swapped the DNA samples. We all dragged him through the mud, did we not? We called him a selfish scammer, a manipulator, a man willing to forge medical records just to get his hands on a child. But ladies, the leaked script completely redeems him. Ethan did not swap the DNA to steal Phoebe. He swapped the DNA to protect her. When Ethan realized the horrifying truth about Cassius and Delilah, he knew that if the real DNA test results were published, it would alert Cassius to Phoebe's existence. It would put a massive target on that little girl's back. Let us really break down the psychology of what Ethan is doing here, because it is brilliant and tragic all at once. Ethan knows exactly who Cassius Faison is. He knows the danger that surrounds that family name. If the truth comes out that Phoebe is Cassius's flesh and blood, the fallout would be catastrophic. Not only would Cassius swoop in to claim the child, dragging her into his dark and dangerous world, but all of Cassius's enemies would suddenly have a new, vulnerable target. Jen Sidwell, who is already running loose and setting traps for Sonny Corinthos and Laura Collins, would absolutely use Cassius's biological daughter as leverage. Ethan looked at that innocent baby and made a split-second decision to sacrifice his own reputation to keep her safe. Now, let us talk about the absolute nail-biting tension of the DNA swap, because the leaked script gives us the full, unedited breakdown of how Ethan pulled it off. This was not a simple matter of slipping an envelope across a desk. Ethan had to infiltrate the General Hospital laboratory during the night shift. My sources say he disguised himself in standard scrubs, his heart pounding out of his chest as he navigated the sterile, brightly lit corridors. He had to bypass the security keypad on the genetics lab door. When he finally found the tray holding the samples for the custody case, he held Phoebe's swab in one hand and his own forged sample in the other. This was the moment of truth. This was the moment Ethan crossed the line from a rogue with a heart of gold into a desperate protector. As he stood in that cold laboratory, Ethan was not thinking about money, and he was not thinking about leverage. He was flashing back to the black ink in those police files. He was imagining Cassius Faison's cold, dead eyes looking at baby Phoebe. He knew that if the lab ran the real DNA, it would bounce against the national database and flag a direct familial match to the Faison bloodline. The hospital would be legally obligated to report it. Within 24 hours, Cassius would know he had a daughter. Ethan swapped those swabs with shaking hands, knowing that he was committing a felony, knowing that he would be branded a liar and a manipulator by everyone he cares about. He sealed the fake results in the envelope, effectively locking himself into a massive, life-altering lie. He chose to become the villain in Brooklyn and Chase's eyes so that Phoebe would not become a victim in Cassius's world. Think about the sheer audacity of Cassius Faison right now. He is currently playing the role of Nathan West with Nina Reeves, expressing fake concern that he might be projecting fatherhood issues onto James. He is sitting there, looking into Nina's eyes, playing the victim, all while knowing he abandoned a secret wife and child decades ago. It makes my blood boil just thinking about it. And poor Dante Falconeri. Dante is currently going to bat for Cassius, arguing with ADA Justine Turner, risking his own career and the reputation of the PCPD to defend a man he believes is innocent in the Jen Sidwell escape. If Dante knew that Cassius was not only the inside man who funded Sidwell's escape, but also a man who erased his own wife from police records, Dante would personally lock him in a cell and throw away the key. Cassius is a master manipulator, and Ethan is the only person in town who has finally peeked behind the curtain. The ripple effects of this secret are going to crash over Port Charles like a tidal wave, and I firmly believe Sonny Corinthos is going to be dragged right into the center of it. We know Sonny is currently developing a bold new strategy regarding the escaped Jen Sidwell, much to the unease of Rick Lansing. Sonny thinks he has the board figured out. He thinks he knows where the threats are coming from, but he has no idea that the ultimate leverage is sitting in the Quartermain mansion disguised as a custody dispute. If Jen Sidwell catches wind that Cassius Faison has a biological daughter, Sidwell will pivot his entire operation. He will not just target Laura or Lucas, he will go straight for Phoebe. Sidwell would kidnap that baby in a heartbeat to force Cassius to do his bidding. This is exactly why Ethan is so desperate to meet with Sonny. We know Ethan just delivered a summons to Ava Jerome on Sonny's behalf. But what if Ethan is planning to use this meeting to bring Sonny into the circle of trust? Ethan knows he cannot fight Cassius Faison and Jen Sidwell alone. He needs the power, the resources, and the absolute ruthlessness of the Corinthos cartel to protect that baby. Imagine the dynamic shift if Sonny Corinthos and Ethan Lovett form a secret alliance to protect Cassius Faison's secret child. It would be the most unexpected, explosive team-up in the history of the show. Sonny has a massive soft spot for children, and if he learns that a baby is in the crosshairs of a monster like Cassius, he will mobilize every enforcer he has to guard the Quartermain mansion. Let us circle back to Ava Jerome's involvement in all of this, because my insider leak suggests her role is about to become absolutely critical. Right now, Ava is refusing to cooperate with Ethan's demand to see Sunny unless she gets something out of it. She is playing her usual calculating, self serving games at the gallery with Trina, but Ava is a mother who has lost a child, and she is fiercely protective of Avery. When Ethan finally breaks down and reveals the truth that the blackmail was a front and that he is actually trying to shield a baby from Cassius Phazon, Ava's entire demeanor will change. She knows firsthand the destruction that men like Cassius leave in their wake. I predict Ava will become Ethan's greatest ally, using her cunning and her connections to help him forge a fake paper trail that leads Cassius as far away from Phoebe as possible. The two of them, the town's resident schemers, will become the ultimate guardians of innocence. But the absolute tragedy of this entire storyline is the collateral damage it is going to cause to the people who genuinely love Phoebe. Brooke Lynn, Quartermain, and Harrison Chase are completely in the dark. My insider leak tells me that Chase is about to deliver some flirtatious good news to Brooke Lynn, likely about their progress in adopting baby Phoebe. They are planning a beautiful, happy future with this child. They are completely oblivious to the ticking time bomb sitting right in their living room. Chase, being the righteous, law abiding detective that he is currently investigating the fake evidence against Willow Kane, completely unaware that his own wife framed Willow. But when the truth about Phoebe's DNA finally drops, the hit and run scandal is going to look like child's play. How is Chase going to react when he finds out that the baby he wants to adopt is the center of a massive criminal cover up involving forged police records, stolen DNA, and the Phazon cartel? It might just break him. Can you imagine the look on Brooke Lynn's face when she realizes the child she has bonded with is the biological offspring of Cassius Phazon? Tracy Quartermain will probably try to hire a private jet to send the baby out of the country just to avoid the scandal. And, ladies, we have to talk about the psychological toll this is taking on Ethan. He is walking a tightrope over an active volcano. Every single day he wakes up, he has to play the part of the arrogant, entitled, biological father. He has to look Ava Jerome in the eye and pretend he is blackmailing her for selfish gain, all while his stomach is tied in knots with anxiety. He is carrying the weight of Delilah Wilson's ghost. Who was she? Was she a victim of Cassius's cruelty? Did she try to run away to protect her unborn child, only to meet a tragic end? Or is she locked away somewhere, a prisoner of Cassius's dark past? Ethan is determined to find out, but every rock he turns over brings him closer to being discovered. If Cassius even gets a whiff that Ethan has been digging into the cold case files, Ethan's life will not be worth a plug nickel. This is why we watch, ladies. Hey, this is the kind of meaty, multi-layered, generational storytelling that keeps us glued to our screens. The writers have masterfully woven Ethan's seemingly selfish actions into a massive web of protection and deceit. The cold case files at the PCPD are a goldmine of secrets, and Ethan Lovett just struck the mother lode. He holds the key to destroying Cassius Phazon, but using that key means putting baby Phoebe directly in the line of fire. It is an impossible choice, and I am telling you, the performances we are going to get from this storyline will be Emmy-worthy. So, what do you guys think? I want you to head down to the comments right now and tell me your theories. Do you think Ethan can keep this massive secret hidden from Cassius long enough to neutralize him? How do you think Ava Jerome is going to react when she finds out she is being used to protect Cassius Phazon's secret daughter? And most importantly, do you think Delilah Wilson is still alive, waiting for the perfect moment to return and claim her child? Sound off below, because I read every single one of your comments, and I know you ladies always have the best theories